Hello there, Brad is here, and I'm just going to do something really weird in the editor, and this is per bike. Have different bikes do different things while you're riding. It's not something you commonly see in trials, but I'm going to set one up really quickly. So, like, for example, if you're riding a squid, it's set on fire, whereas if you're riding the rhino, you'd bail out, whereas if you're riding, I don't know, the mantis, something else will happen, like end event maybe. So I'm just going to, the point of the video is to show different bikes do different things. So to start this off, what we need is some sort of trigger. So we'll get our trigger out. I'm going to just use an area trigger. Pop that there, like so. And what I've done is show my editor icons. So when we're riding, we actually see it. So we know when we're triggering it. Okay? Right. Also, to get this to work per bike, we're going to need a data source, and we need a game variable data source. Now it says game character speed. We're not going to be use game character speed. If we push up on the D-pad, we can select different functions. I'm going to choose bike ID. So let's choose bike ID. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this behind the rider a moment. When I ride, because I've enabled my editor icon things, be able to see it when I ride. So there it is. And you can see it says bike ID 1. If I push down on my D-pad, choose my bike and choose the Rhino, you can see there, bike ID 2. I don't even have to ride to show it. And if I choose the Helium, for example, bike ID 6. So you can see, depending on what bike you're using, you get a different ID from this tile. So let's go back to the squid, which is bike ID 1. So that's our information. It's stored in that tile, depending on what bike we use. Now we need to compare it to something, so we can say true or false, depending on what bike we're using. So we're going to go to filters, and we're going to choose a generic filter. I'm going to leave it on the standard equals. You can change it so it's not equals, greater than, less than. But in these events, you're going to be using equals or not equals. I'm going to be using equals because I'm going to be doing a few comparisons. The comparison value of 1, if we press Y, we want to choose the bike ID. And we need to set this to 1. So if bike ID 1 equals 1, which we have set there, then it's going to send off a true or false signal, depending on what we want. For this, let's set him on fire. So we'll choose a fire event and on. This fire event affects the bike and the rider, and it's set to on. You can have it set to off or toggle, but we're going to just leave it as on. So now what we want to do is, if 1 equals 1, we'll set it to true, and we'll set it to on fire. If it's false, what we can do is, you can leave it if you want, but just for the sake of this, where are we? Where are we? Is it drama event? Is it? Yes. We'll have it bail out. So if it's false, bail out. So bike ID is 1, which is shown here, we've already set that comparison value 1. If it equals 1, which we've set manually, we'll set him on fire. If it's false, we'll bail out. So, bike ID 1 is a squid. So let's test this. As you can see, they're there. If bike ID 1 equals 1, I'm going to go on fire. And I didn't because I'm stupid and I didn't set the hit trigger up. So, on hit, do the calculations. That's really important part of this. Oops. So, let's try again. If I hit this, I should be on fire. There we are. I'm on fire. Ah, I'm on fire! Okay, and I died. Now, I've also got a false there, if it's not true. So, if I choose a different bike, which is going to be the Rhino, as mentioned before, the bike ID is now 2. The comparison value of equals, 2 equals 1, well that's false. So it's going to say bail out. So now, I shouldn't be on fire, I should bail out. Just by going doink, just riding into it. Okay, we've got the gist of that. What we can do now is we can expand on that. I'm just going to remove that bailout. Going to move these up a little bit. And I'm going to copy this middle tile. I'm going to do it so we've got 4. So, as we've established, the Rhino is bike number 2, and it says so there. So, if the comparison is 2 equals 2, we'll get it to do something else. So, we're not setting that one. In fact, let's get rid of these two, setting that. On this one, we'll do the drama event. So, we'll set this to, I don't know, bailout. I know we've already used that. If it's true, we'll bail out. If it's false, you can get it to do something else, like set on fire or end the track. But I'm just going to leave it as on true for now. This is going to be bike 3, which is the Mantis, I believe. And this last one for the Helium is 6. I already know this because I did a little bit of testing beforehand just to make sure I'm getting everything right, even though I forgot to hook up my hitbox. So, for the Mantis, what other drama events have we got? Single shit? No, we're not going to use that. What have we got? We'll use the end event. So, if 3 equals 3, on true, end event. Basically, if Mantis equals Mantis, end the track. If Rhino equals Rhino, bail out. If Squid equals Squid, set on fire. So the numbers are basically the names of the bikes. You've just got to know which number is which bike's name. So for 6, what we got? What game events have we got in here? Oh, no, I don't want that one. What's this? Detach. There we go. Reset to checkpoint. What we'll do is we'll reset to checkpoint, but we're going to get another checkpoint in here. And I'm just going to put this checkpoint there. So you'll be able to see it next to the start. And on true. So, if I choose bike and choose a squid. Test track. I'm on fire. No bailouts, no resets to checkpoint, no end event. So, if I choose bike and we choose the rhino is going to bail us out. Wait, what? Why? I should have... Do you know what? I know why. I haven't hooked these other tiles up. So if false, go there. If false, go there. If false, come here. And I'll show you a different way of hooking it up in a moment. If false, wait, what? Why is it not letting me set that? I can set that. I can set that. But I can't. Wait, what? Why? Why can I not choose that one? That's weird if ever I've seen weird. If false. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't select that then, but anyway. So what will happen is, if it's true for the squid, sets on fire. If it's false, it'll check this value. And if that value is true, it'll bail out. If it's false, it'll then check this value. And if that's true, it'll end the event. If it's false, it'll check this value. And if it equals the bike, it'll reset it to checkpoint. So, this time, I should be able to bail out. And it does that automatically. I am not pressing the button. It's doing it on its own when I hit it. So, in theory, the mantis, see, is coming here, bike ID 3. Does 3 equal 1? No. Does 3 equals 2? No. False. Does 3 equals 3? That's true. We'll do that. It's not false, so it's not going to check this one. So test track, come along here, end event. And finally, helium. And we'll do this one from the start. Oh, I tell you what I haven't done. I know what I haven't done. I just want to come here, checkpoint index 1, which should be that. Checkpoint order 1. So let's try again from the start. Past that and reset to checkpoint. There we go. Now, if the true false is giving you a bit of the heebie-jeebies, we can just cheat it a little bit and use only the true events if that makes life easier. So we'll disconnect the false events. So we're only using the trues. This may make your life easier depending on how comfortable or how well you've been following along so far. So what we're going to do, and this is a fun little thing that I enjoy using. Where are we? Splitter. The splitter is fun, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's not a tin. I'm going to pop this here. What the splitter does is basically it takes the power line, the event line, and it allows you to split it. So if we hit this, we can now select events filters, which is a power line. Let's call it a power line. And now we can choose that, 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 and that. And those will all work off the true principle. And you can see highlighted because I am on the helium, it's 6 equals 6. If I choose my bike and choose number 1, or the squid, 1 equals 1. Choose bike, rhino, 2 equals 2. And you can get those doing all those things if you choose. Now these events can be hooked up to anything where you do your events normally. For example, have a bomb go off, or have a piano fall on your head, etc., etc. You can just continue them like you normally would in any logic. All this is doing is saying switch on, yes. If it's not equal to that, it won't trigger the next thing. So the 3 things you need to enable something per bike: a hit trigger, or an area trigger, or a trigger of some description. You need your bike ID to say which bike you are riding, and you need your generic filters to say, is the squid the squid? If it is, do this. Is the rhino the rhino? If it is, do this. The only difference is, in these tiles, it's 1 equals 1 for the bike, 2 equals 2. But it's saying squid equals squid, rhino equals rhino, etc., etc. So, while it looks complicated, if you break it down and use your normal words, and you recognize that the rhino is actually number 2, then you're saying, is the rhino equal a rhino? Same as saying, is the 2 equals 2? If the rhino is the rhino, then do this. If the rhino is not the rhino, don't do that if you've got a false coming off. And that false could be anything else you choose. For example, let me, just for gits and shiggles, get this drain pipe. I'm going to put that there. Where did it go? Right. I'm going to put that there. And we're just going to get an event. No, tools, triggers and events. Event, and we'll get a physics event. We'll pop this here. So what we could do is, if that's false, then do that. So we need to enable the target, which will give me a blue line, to be that. And we're doing this off the squid. So choose bike, squid, test track. So there we go. I've just gone on fire. If it's false and we're not the squid, test track, that comes down. And okay, I had it hooked up to something else, so we're bailing out, but it's not the squid. It's saying the rhino isn't the squid. That is wrong or false. So we're going to turn this on. I hope this gives you a bit of an understanding on how different bikes can affect different behaviours on a driving line. And please don't abuse it in the way that I have on a certain track, if you know what that track is. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for being here and watching. Much love to you all. Stay safe out there and all that jiggery pokery. Bye for now.